Bilal Ebne Rabah, Rahmatullah Alayh. A voice that rose above chains the history of Islam. There are individuals whose lives changed the course of humanity not through power or wealth, but through unwavering faith and moral courage. One such figure is Bilal Ebne Rabah, Rahmatullah Alayh, a man whose journey from slavery to honor stands as one of the most powerful stories of justice, equality, and devotion. His life reflects the true spirit of Islam, where dignity is earned through faith, not lineage, and where truth stands firm against oppression. Bilal Ebne Rabah was born in Mecca during a time when society was deeply divided by race, tribe, and social status. His mother, Hamima, was an Ethiopian slave, and because of this, Bilal inherited a life of bondage and humiliation. He was owned by Umayyah ibn Khalaf, a wealthy Qurayshi leader who was known for his harsh treatment of slaves and his strong opposition to Islam. In the eyes of Meccan society, Bilal held no value beyond his physical labor. Yet, Allah had destined him for a role that would elevate him above kings and nobles. When the message of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, began to spread in Mecca, it challenged the very foundations of social injustice. Islam declared that all humans were equal before Allah, regardless of race or status. When Bilal heard this message, his heart immediately recognized its truth. For the first time, he was seen not as property, but as a human being with dignity and purpose. Despite knowing the dangers, Bilal accepted Islam openly, placing his faith above his fear. The consequences were severe. When Umayyah ibn Khalaf discovered Bilal's conversion, he unleashed brutal punishment upon him. Bilal was dragged into the scorching desert, laid upon burning sand, and crushed beneath heavy stones placed on his chest. He was beaten, starved, and publicly humiliated, all to force him to abandon his belief in one God. Yet, through unbearable pain, Bilal remained steadfast. With each breath, he repeated a single word, Ahad. Ahad, meaning one God. These words became a symbol of resistance, echoing through the streets of Mecca and shaking the conscience of those who witnessed his suffering. Bilal's courage did not go unnoticed. Abu Bakr As-Siddiq, Rahmatullah Alayh, one of the closest companions of the Prophet, was deeply moved by Bilal's condition. Refusing to remain silent in the face of injustice, Abu Bakr purchased Bilal's freedom solely for the sake of Allah. With this act, Bilal was liberated not only from physical chains but from a system that denied him humanity. His freedom marked a powerful moment in Islamic history, demonstrating that Islam stands firmly against oppression and slavery. After gaining his freedom, Bilal's status in the Muslim community rose in a way unimaginable in Meccan society. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, honored Bilal by appointing him as the first Muezzin of Islam, the one chosen to call the believers to prayer. This role was not given lightly. The Adhan is a public declaration of faith, and Bilal's voice carried sincerity, strength, and devotion. 5 times a day, his call reminded Muslims of Allah's greatness and the unity of the Ummah. Through this choice, Islam sent a clear message. Honor is based on faith and righteousness, not race or background. One of the most unforgettable moments in Bilal's life occurred after the conquest of Mecca. The city that once tortured and humiliated him now stood humbled before the truth of Islam. On that historic day, Bilal Ebne Rabah stood upon the roof of the Kaaba and called the Adhan. The same voice that once cried out under torture now echoed freely from the holiest place on earth. For believers, it was a moment of triumph, proof that justice had prevailed and that faith had conquered arrogance. Following the passing of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, Bilal's grief was profound. His connection to the Prophet was deep, and calling the Adhan without him became unbearable. He eventually left Medina, choosing a life of quiet devotion. It is reported that when Bilal once returned and called the Adhan again, the people of Medina wept, overwhelmed by memories of the Prophet and the early days of Islam. Bilal later passed away in Syria, hopeful of reuniting with the beloved Prophet in the hereafter. Today, Bilal Ebne Rabah's legacy lives on in every Adhan heard across the world. His life teaches timeless lessons, that faith gives strength to the oppressed, that dignity is granted by Allah alone, and that standing firm for truth can change the course of history. Bilal's voice, once silenced by chains, continues to call humanity toward justice, unity, and belief, reminding us that no struggle is greater than faith, and no voice raised for truth is ever forgotten.